The band I'm talking about are Anthrax. The question that I've got to put to all of the members of the band individually first is, what has the British public done wrong? Here you sit in Europe, a long way from New York City, and we're not seeing you in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Eire. So why? I mean, what do we do?
I'm Frankie. I play bass, and you've done nothing wrong. It's just that on this tour, it just wasn't time yet to play England and all that.
Well, really, the story really behind is that we did do Donington last year. This is Danny speaking, and usually 2 years in a row running, you're not there the second year. So that's the reason that we didn't come to England.
This is Scott, and they apparently they had us booked in the Marquee, and it just recently moved. And then they chickened out, and they were afraid of having our audience in the streets, and they said, we don't want to lose our license. And we said, what kind of club are you running? We thought this was a place, you know, a hard rock or heavy metal, and you have no guts, you know, to put us in there. So, you know, so we were really disappointed because we weren't playing Britain, and we figured this was a good chance to come in. We never had played the Marquee before. Then they decided about 2 weeks before the show not to have us.
So the reality of the situation, I now turn to Mr. Belladonna, the reality is that you could have played the United Kingdom, at least the Marquee, but good old Britain said no, or those that rule.
Basically, here we are. We're playing the Monsters of Rock. We're doing what they want us to do, and we'll be back to play everything and everything.
We'll do a full. We'll be back for a full UK tour in March, I think.
First off, before we play any music, can I ask you how you achieved the State of Euphoria?
The kids all achieved it. I mean, that's what they are at our shows. They're really happy, a smile on their face when to see an Anthrax show. So that's them, and it's us. That's the way we feel with them.
If you haven't got a chance to see an Anthrax show, go to your video store and buy a new video and FB.
That's not
sounding exactly like American commercial radio. To heck with that. Let's talk seriously now. What do you think of this slam dancing and stage diving? Now, seriously, I say seriously because a couple of guys recently died at Donington, right? There is an element of danger in that sort of thing. What do you guys think about it?
Well, you know, slam dancing is something that we've been with since the beginning. We were one of the first metal bands to have this go on at our shows, and you know, everything's got its place. At a thing like Donington, when you got 100,000 odd people together, and you got kids trying to dive off that platform into the mud where there's no good footing, and I mean, someone's going to get hurt no matter what. I've been in small clubs with 30 people where kids have gone out with broken noses and broken hands, and you know, so it is really dangerous. And it's just a case of, you know, if you're going to participate in it, you know, don't go in there to hurt somebody. You should be in there to, you know, to enjoy yourself, not to be throwing punches and kicking people.
I recently read an article that was about some incidences that occurred on stage with you guys, where people were coming up out of the audience and actually bugging you on stage. Yeah. Now, that's something you don't agree with at all.
It wasn't a question of bugging us. It was a question of the security men that the kids were antagonizing, okay? And it just was something that was with the security in the audience. And some kids are trying to break through the security guys and come on the stage and shake our hands and stuff like that, which is fine, okay? But when you have 50-something kids doing it and kids falling into your drums and knocking things down, then it gets to be a problem.
Sometimes in the middle of a chord change, I mean, you just can't shake somebody's hand. So it's, you know, it's become a big problem, and it's just recently become a big problem in Britain, where it happened about 2 years ago in the States, and it's kind of, you know, gone past that already. I mean, some places have it, they allow it, and some places don't, and the kids follow by it, whereas now I think more and more kids in Britain are wanting to do this, and more the people who put on the shows just don't want it, and there's been a lot of ugly things. I just read about some gig at the Astoria with these security guys and the kids and people getting beat up, and you know, we see that at our shows and we stop. You know, we won't put for that. We'd much rather let a kid get up and do his thing than have some big goon punching him, as long as they realize that they shouldn't come up and be kicking equipment around and stuff like that.
Everybody has to have a sense of responsibility. If the kids go too wild, they fundamentally can get hurt. Not only that, so could you, Mr. Belladonna.
Hey, gotta have a good time while you're doing it and do it right, you know? Yeah. Just enjoy yourself, not be an ass.
It's happened in the States too many times, and people getting hurt at clubs, and now all the clubs, even the small clubs, 200 to 500 seaters, have barricades in front of the stage, and they have bouncers there, whereas maybe 3 years ago they didn't. They just didn't know what was going on. These clubs have gotten sued, and they had to put up these barriers, and sometimes it just stops the kids totally from getting on stage, which ruins the fun for everybody.
What's the story behind the single that's just released in the UK, Make Me Laugh?
Jimmy Swaggart. Well, I'm still. One of these days we're going to get sued, but yeah, it's, you know, it's about the TV evangelists and just how they rip off the public.
Not only have you created over the years the State of Euphoria, but you've also created a new metal fashion. Leather jackets with you lot are not necessarily in, are they?
Yes. Well, we wear leather jackets. We don't wear them on stage. We have this sort of thing where we wear shorts on stage, and people think that that's more important than our music, wearing the shorts, but it's not actually. We just do it for comfort.
It all came from being too hot on stage a couple of years ago, and it just said, well, I'm not, I was wearing shorts, it was hot out, and I'm saying, I'm not putting my jeans on, it's just too hot,
Take them off in the sweat. I couldn't even take my jeans off, they're stuck to my body.
It's added a bit more color to the metal scene, hasn't it?
Yeah, it makes us different a little bit, too, in a sense. We're not trying to be a real Joe Beach or nothing, but we just like to have a good time with our shorts, and it's kind of fun wearing them,
Certain parts of the body are a lot more freer now, if you know what I mean.
You don't want to talk about your sex life.
No, we're not going to talk. I would just feel a lot more freer and cooler, you understand?
Leisure rules.
Who's the main developer of songs?
Yeah, it's a band thing. Charlie is maybe writing most of the riffs, and I'm writing a lot of lyrics. But it's not like we write a song and then come in and say this is the song. Anthrax is 5 people. It's not like one person and 4 guys just getting paid a wage.
But on the word side, you're the man that has to deliver them all, Mr. Belladonna.
I sing the song, I put a lot of effort into it. When I sing a song, when Scott gives me a lot of lyrics and stuff, I put a lot of feeling into it and make the song happen as much as possible.
But do you actually go out of your way to add anything to the lyrical content?
Oh, definitely, yeah, because he gives me a whistle tracks and I have to still sing it, yeah? So, I mean, he never sings it to me, so I have to do it myself. So me and Frankie especially work together on that.
Can anybody recollect when Anthrax actually started?
Actually, yeah.
It started I actually started the band with our old bass player, Danny. In 1981, we had learned about anthrax, this disease, in our biology class, and we just thought it was a good name. We said, well, that sounds like a good name for a band. It's not a typical, name. Our first original songs that we wrote, out of all the songs we had back in 81 and 82, only Across the River and Howling Furies were actually on the first album, Fistful of Metal. So actually those songs, I guess, were the closest thing, but out of, a lot of the other stuff we wrote really wasn't. It was more like when Charlie joined the band and then Danny joined the band and things became a little bit more, unified. This was in early '83, and once we had a band, like a solid base, then we really started to develop.
Going back to the beginning, I mean, when we sat down to write, we didn't sit down and said, well, we're going to play at 87 miles an hour this song. I mean, it's whatever came out of us. It's really complicated stuff to play too. For someone to sit down and try and learn it or something, it is really complicated.
Can I just say that's probably the understatement of the decade? As far as tours are concerned, I think I'm right in saying you're going to come to the UK around about February?
Late February, March. Yeah, because we're doing this Monsters of Rock, which ends in Paris on September 25th, and then we go home and we're supporting Ozzy Osbourne in the States until the beginning of February.
Do you think there'll be any retention of any sanity after touring with Ozzy Osbourne?
I think it's just going to be a great bill. We're all old Sabbath fans, and we like Ozzy's stuff a lot, and so we're really looking forward to this stuff, He's a really cool guy, and he's really nice of him to take us out.
Good band as well, at the moment.
And Giza, I can't wait. Giza's in the band, so I'm psyched.
And there speaks a bass man.
Oh, I'm psyched. I can't wait to meet him.
Tommy, it's good to see you, pal. He took a train down. It took him an hour. He had 2 beers, and he was happy to go.
And I'm going to have 36 beers after this one ends, I tell you.